Hey, how you doing? Today we're going to be working off of that Country Beans book that I told you about the other day. And we're going to make some bean flour to use in making some bread, you know, as a wheat replacement. And I've just got some white navy beans and we're about to grind them up. You're going to have to pardon the bad camera angle. My helper went down to her mama's for the weekend. One of her friends had a baby, and my wife loves looking at babies. And so we're just got a little adjustable grinder here. It was made for corn, and so I figured it'll be able to bust open the beans a little better than a wheat grinder or a specific wheat grinder. And I've just got some just generic navy beans. I'm just going to fill up the hopper with. I don't know how this is actually going to work because this is the first time we've actually used this grinder, and the way my table's edge is scalloped, it doesn't hold all that good, so we'll just kind of see what happens. Okay, they cracked it up pretty good, but it's nowhere near flour, so I'm going to have to adjust the stones and do it again. Alright, so I ground everything through a second time, and it's a little finer, but it's more like cornmeal or cracked corn, which isn't surprising because that's what that grinder was for. So I'm going to try it one more time, running it through my actual grain mill. So let me get it set up, and I'll start grinding and see what it looks like. Alright, yeah, that's coming out like flour. And according to the book, this is a quick way of making soy milk, but also soups and gravies. It said basically you can use bean flour everywhere you'd use wheat flour. But you get the added proteins of the beans, and you get a lot more flexibility because you could use brown beans or black beans or whatever you want. But I guess the extra protein and nutrients is important because you'll get one heck of a big arm if you don't get a decent grinder. Because a good grinder costs about as much as a used pistol, $400 or so. I got two $40 grinders, and as you can see, it causes me a lot of extra work. So I guess the whole thing, the adage is true. You can be cheap, or you can be good, or you can be fast, and you only get to pick two. I don't know if it's because I've already grinded this stuff twice, or because there's a difference between the beans and the wheat. But this one, it seems a lot easier to grind the bean than it did when I was doing the wheat with this particular grinder. Okay. So, a 1 ounce bag of beans gets you quite a bit of flour. Just eyeballing it, I'd say that's enough for maybe 2 loaves of bread, almost 3 maybe, using the recipe we done for the sourdough. And so that's what we're going to do next. We're just going to make us some sourdough bread using our starter, and we're going to use the exact same recipe we used before, that 1, 2, 3 recipe, except for we're going to replace 2 cups of the beans with 1 cup of, or 2 cups of flour with 2 cups of beans. So we'll have a cup of flour and 2 cups of bean flour to make our recipe, and then we can compare it to the bread we made before and see how it is. So I will tell you, if you're going to start adding a bunch of beans to your diet, you should probably go a little bit slow. You don't want to shock your system too much, and you don't want to have too much of that methane gas production. So we'll make us some bread, and I'm not going to go through all those steps. You've seen it before, but we'll come back and show you the finished loaf. Okay, here's our bean loaf bread, and it came out, looks just like my other bread. I'm gonna take that one to work and share with the guys, so I made this little smaller one. It looks just like regular bread. I tell you, I took a little bit of the leftover dough and rolled it into a little ball and smushed it kind of like a thick tortilla and fried it, and it was pretty good too. But see what it tastes like. It breaks apart like normal bread. I really can't tell the difference between wheat flour bread and this made with the navy beans, the white beans. Of course, I did read, depending on the type of beans, you can get different taste, and that the white beans were the most mild. So, you know, I don't know. Something to try. I think this went over pretty good. So, until next time, you can always catch us online at www.tandgun.com.
I've got a plan, fits my point of view. I'm getting